Meet Kathy the consumer. Like every red-blooded American consumer, she loves to shop and spend. Kathy makes her purchases in a market. A market is a place buyers and sellers meet to make exchanges, such as money for a cell phone. The economic system you're probably most familiar with is a free market, a market where the government doesn't intervene in day-to-day economic activities such as setting prices or telling businesses what they can produce. Kathy is always on the lookout for good deals. Some markets are better than others for Kathy. There are four general types of market structures: a perfectly competitive market, a monopoly, monopolistic competition, and an oligopoly. Kathy will usually find the best bargains in a perfectly competitive market. This type of market is characterized by a large number of small businesses that sell the same types of products with the same characteristics. It's easy for businesses to enter the market and leave it. Everyone has all the information and technology needed to make smart and informed decisions in the marketplace. In a perfectly competitive market, businesses have to compete on price because all the products are basically the same. Thus, Kathy can get the best price available because businesses will compete with each other by lowering prices. Of course, in the real world, a perfectly competitive market does not exist. The closest example is a commodity like oranges at your grocery store. A navel orange is a navel orange. The worst possible market for Kathy is a monopoly. In a monopoly market, Kathy can only buy the product she wants from one seller. No other business offers the same thing. It's very hard, if not impossible, for new businesses to enter the market. For example, a drug company with a patent on a new drug will have a monopoly on that medicine until the patent expires. Since a business in a monopoly has no competition, it has a great degree of power in the market. It can determine how much of a good or service to supply the market, and it also has a great deal of power of the pricing of its goods and services. The business can charge a price for its goods and services as high as buyers like Kathy are willing to pay. Of course, if the price is too high, Kathy and other potential purchasers will not buy. In a monopolistic competition, you have a large number of small businesses, just like in a perfectly competitive market. However, in a monopolistic market, businesses don't sell identical products like you find in a perfectly competitive market. Instead, they sell similar products. This means that businesses can compete not only on price, but also on different characteristics of their products. For example, there's a wide variety of clothing from which Kathy can choose. It's also pretty easy for businesses to enter and leave the market, like in perfectly competitive markets. There's also a good deal of information on prices and technology available to businesses and consumers. However, the information is not perfect like in a perfectly competitive market. The information is not perfect because it's hard to determine which product is the better deal if they are not identical. Monopolistic competition should sound familiar to you because it's the typical type of market we function in on a daily basis. Sometimes Kathy will have to contend with an oligopoly. An oligopoly consists of a few large businesses that sell either identical or very similar products. These industries are marked by a small number of businesses that require a high degree of initial capital investment, which makes entry by new businesses difficult. Nevertheless, businesses in an oligopoly do compete on price and other characteristics of their products and services. Examples of oligopolies include the oil industry and auto manufacturing. Let's review what we've learned. A market is a place where people go to buy and sell goods and services. A free market is a market that has limited government involvement. Market structures can generally be divided into four types. A perfectly competitive market is one where there are a large number of small firms selling identical products. Everyone has perfect information, and it's easy for businesses to enter and leave the market. A monopoly exists when one seller controls the quantity of the good or service supplied. Prices for goods and services in a monopoly can be set as high as buyers are willing to pay since there's no competition. On the other hand, a monopolistic competition is the type of market you find in the United States. You have a large number of businesses selling similar products. Businesses compete on price and different characteristics of their products and services. Again, businesses can relatively easily enter and leave the market. Finally, an oligopoly exists where there is a small number of large businesses that produce the same or similar goods or services, such as a car. Unlike a monopoly, there is competition between businesses, but it's not easy for new businesses to enter the market.